All right, Shalom Akim starts the lesson. Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua Bahashir Makakwadash. The ones to apostles and elders, great millstone that taught us his truth. Peace and blessing to the sincere Akim says pushing his truth in all truth and sincerity around the four corners of the earth and Jalid, Tiwasi Shalom. Okay, and the brother Ariel from the Grand Millstone Miami camp. And coming back through the spirit power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua to make another quick lesson. All right, this title lesson, I haven't quite thought of a lesson title yet, but I'm gonna go on the verge of the beginning of sorrows and martial law due to the fact that Trump has just made DC, made the federal government and these police departments basically take control of Washington DC. All right, so now Trump has these task force and these police departments, all these police departments, federal, all right, just rummaging through, through Jake neighborhoods, man. Okay, and and that's the beginning of sorrow, the beginning of martial law. Okay, in a sense, because Esau or Donald Trump is trying to make DC, as it says in this article, a long term. Okay, so this is not something that's just gonna pass within a month. He's trying to make this something a long term federal, control of Washington DC, man. Okay, he's not trying to, just make this thing only like a week or two. No. Okay, but ultimately, the reason being is that, the crime that's happening in DC. Just watching a video by Elder Yashawamba, he was just going into the same, the same topic, going into that, man. All right, showing you, how, ultimately, it's the Lord judging Jake because of the wickedness that they commit, man. Jake just surpassing the deeds of Esau, Edom. Scriptures say that, ye are as your father, the devil. The works that he do, ye do. Okay. Scriptures referencing, our people, the nation of Israel, having the same characteristics as the so-called white man. You see Jake now, Jake killing, stealing, robbing, killing the elderly. Okay, robbing the elderly, just being a total nigga. Okay, and then, in the video, Elder Yashram was going into how, all right, y'all done overdid it, man. Jake done hit the limit, man. Okay, Jake just running around just shooting people for no reason, man. Harmless crimes. Okay, and that's ultimately why the Lord is fed up with Jake's nonsense, man. Okay, the Lord, the Lord ultimately here to the praise of the prophets. Okay, we done praying that for something to happen to these niggas, man. Okay, and here is a small sort of small chunk of martial law in a sense, man. Okay, so if you in Washington DC, you just roaming around, the police can stop you, man. Okay, all that, all those rights and all those recordings and all that shit is gonna go out the window. Okay, when Jake was saying, it was not the battle when Northern Kingdom was getting, grabbed up. Now it's time for Southern Kingdom, man. Okay, now Southern Kingdom is the one being, traumatized, man, right now. Okay, now Southern Kingdom, okay, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, now y'all getting the end of the stick, man. Y'all was laughing at Northern Kingdom. Okay, and when ICE was coming, ICE is still coming. And now, Trump done made it come upon y'all too as well. It may not be deportation. Okay, now you got police in your hoods, man. Even more police in your hoods just walking around, grabbing up people, asking them questions, and arresting them, man. Okay, but I'm going to get into the article. It says President Donald Trump said on Wednesday that he will seek more permanent federal control of the Washington, D.C. police force as he continues efforts to ramp up crime enforcement in the nation's capital. And, we know damn well when you search it up, man, it says that, so-called white people are the ones that commit more crime, man. Okay, they the one that, that steal more. Okay? And it says earlier this week, Trump announced his plans to deploy the National Guard troops in the nation's capital declaring a public safety emergency in order to put the Washington Police Department under federal control and the station in the National Guard on the city streets. So you are going to see the National Guard in the city streets, man. Okay, Trump's current control of D.C. policy will force expires in 30 days after Congress would have to weigh in. Okay, but this devil's trying to prolong this, man. Okay, the horns of this devil is starting to show. Okay, Trump is not playing, man. Okay, all you niggas that voted for him, thinking that you're better than Biden, now y'all get confounded, man. These are only the beginning. The beginning of this horn, of the devil's horn that he's starting to show. Okay. And I got a few precepts lined up, and it says this is 2 Ezra 15. In verse, I'm going to start at verse 7. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, innocent righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. That's right, and this is going to Esau Edom. Okay, Lord ain't holding back no more. When it comes to Esau Edom's wickedness, man. Okay, but as well as Esau's wickedness, Jake too, man. Okay, you 2/3. Lord see your wickedness too as well. The Lord see us complaining continually. At the unjust of the 2/3, man. The wickedness of the 2/3. There has to be some type of judgment against you 2/3, man. Y'all just exceedingly wicked. Okay, y'all just not gonna get off scotch-free. Okay, and we see, these federal troops coming, but the Lord, Lord's gonna have, the men of the Lord's back and the members of the elect, man. Okay. But I'm gonna grab this other precept, Well, I'm gonna grab this right now, quick. It's Isaiah 59 and verse 19. It says, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him." Even when Esau Edom tries to, carole in on the men of the Lord or a member of the elect, okay, the Lord gonna lift up that standard, man. The Lord gonna show these devils, that he dealing with us. But if you are not a part of those two categories, man, the Lord is really gonna let Esau grab you, man. And you are starting to see a little bit of that now. Okay, Esau is, Donald Trump is allowing the National Guard and these federal agencies and these police departments to come after you niggas, man. Okay, and if you're not a member of the elect, or you doing the work of the Yahweh Shalom Shai, okay, you gonna get grabbed up. Okay, and even if you do, because scriptures say that some men of the Lord are gonna be grabbed up. Okay, you still gonna be in good case, rather compared to a nigga that's not in this truth and a nigga that's constantly being wicked. All right, jumping on. This is Jeremiah 18, in verse 17, in verse 18. It says, "Then say, let us come." And I'm reading NLT, and it says, "Then people said, come, let us plot a way to stop Jeremiah." All right, and these people talking about the nation of Israel, man. All right, we have plenty of priests and wise men and prophets, and that's what the people say now, man. Okay, they think of ways to conspire against the men of the Lord. Okay, saying that they have pastors and high priests, man. All right, continue on. So we don't need him to teach us, to teach the word and give us advice and prophecies. Let's spread rumors about him and ignore what he says. And we know what nation people does that, or what nation people had did that. Okay, the nation of Israel, man. Okay, conspiring against the men of the Lord. Okay, spreading rumors against the men of the Lord, saying that we did this, saying that we did that. Okay, there's nothing new under the sun. These things have happened already. All right, and they are coming back. The scripture said that there's nothing new under the sun. Okay, and we believe in reincarnation. So those same people that was back then, conspiring against Jeremiah, are the same people back now conspiring against us, man. And it says, "Give heed to me, O Lord, hearken to the voice of them that contend with me. shall evil be recompense for good? For they have dig a pit for my soul. Remember that I stood before thee to speak good for them, and to turn away the wrath of them. It says, should they repay evil for good? They have dug a pit to kill me, though I pleaded for them and tried to protect them from their anger. And that's right, man. Okay, they were trying to come after Jeremiah, and Jeremiah was saying that, he was basically pleading the cause for the nation of Israel, man. Showing you the characteristics of our people. That's why I'm like, Esau rolls down, okay, in Washington, D.C. and to the cities near surrounding cities. Okay, the Lord gonna allow this devil to go all out on you niggas, man. Because y'all the same niggas that was speaking in those times, man. All right, verse 21. It says, so let their children starve, let them die by the sword, let their wives become childless, widows, let their old men die in a plague, let their young men be killed in battle. And it says, let screaming be heard from their homes, and warriors come suddenly upon them, for they have dug a pit for me. They have hidden traps along my path. Lord, you know all their murderous plots against me. Don't forgive their crimes and blot out their sins. Let them die before you. Deal with them in your anger. All right, so Jeremiah got vexed, man. Okay, seeing that he was, he was trying to plead for their case, and they just, conspiring against him, man. That's just making, that just adding on anger, man. Okay, that makes a person angry, man. Just put it like this. Okay, you a lawyer pleading for your client's cause, okay, to the judge, and here is the client saying that they don't need a lawyer, and then and the client trying to conspire against you, man. All right, you gonna say fuck that, man. Judge, give him the whole hammer. All right, and that's how the nation of Israel act, man, and acting to this day now. Okay, they conspire against the prophets of the Lord. Okay, say false lies against us. All right, and that's why we fed up with them too, man. That's why we saying the Lord to come expediently to judge these niggas, man. Okay, so that so now when Trump comes down with this federal thing picking up Jake and police in the streets, we are praising at that, man. We saying call on that Bashar Shai to those things. All right, but Akim, that's a lesson. Okay, the title lesson is going to be the beginning of sorrows and martial law. Okay, and low news edify with that. I do want to give our praise now glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua Bahashim Kakwadash, the bonus star apostle and others of great millstone that taught us the truth. Peace and blessing to the sincere Akims. With that, I want to say shalom.